Remix. 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 Remix.
Oh, yeah. Welcome out once again. This is the Remix Morning Show. Right here on Black Liberation Media. In case you didn't know, I go by the name of the Air Doctor. Came to bring you that boom bap breakfast with a little bit of house, a little bit of boots, pants. You know what it is. We about to get into it right now. But let me introduce you to the host with the most. She goes by the name of Burn It Down, Kim Brett.
Keep that little bop going there, Doc. That was nice.
All right.
Who was that?
That
Nice
right there is the foreign exchange. That's right.
Like Fonte and them? Fonte and
them. Yeah,
for real.
Yeah.
What's the
Now
other brother's
listen.
name? Oh, Nicolay.
Yeah. I'm telling you, get classic albums. I don't think people understand the foreign exchange movement because it was on the low. You know what I'm saying? Especially when a lot of other music was going on. I don't think people know. So go check that out.
I'm more familiar with Fonte's work from Little Brother, right? So the foreign exchange, I had awareness of it, but I didn't jump on it as it sounds as though I should have. So
Fonte can sing. Like in case Drake gives a lot of credit for what he does now to Fonte. So just saying.
In the line of like ODB, I used to love when Old Dirty would sing.
Yeah.
That was amongst one of my favorite things. I'm like, listen to Old Dirty, give it to us.
Yeah, man. Hey, man, I had a good time. Last time we seen each other was Classical Breakdown that last Thursday. We did 1995. Thank y'all for all who came through and checked it out. Y'all can still check it out. It's still up.
Oh, good.
So,
That's progress. Classical Breakdown, always a good time. Shout out to everyone that always come out and turn up with me and Air Doctor. We always enjoy ourselves. That's amongst my favorite things, Air Doctor, is listening to music and then talking about music.
Right? I mean, what other show could be better? You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't know. I mean, that's why we had to bring some of that over here to the Remix Morning Show and give it to you for these last 4 years. We've been doing it. How was your weekend?
Years. Madness.
Weekend
was pretty good.
I was going to wait because you know how Kamal comes in right after you tell me and then say, so what happened this weekend? But fuck it. How was your weekend?
It's fine. Weekend was good, man.
Mama Brown.
Mama
I keep messing you up.
She had a great Mother's Day. Happy belated Mother's Day to my mom and all the moms out there of humans and mammals or reptiles. If you were a pet mom, shout out to you too. How was what do fathers do on Mother's Day, especially when you
fathers pay for what the kids want to do for their mom?
Okay. Very good. Good job.
And fathers get to go eat the food that their kids prepare for their mom and grandma. So, you know, I got to go sit down and eat my son cooked up some stuff. My daughter baked some stuff. So, did that. And then I took a shot for my mom who passed away.
Of course.
So it was beautiful. It was beautiful. Big up to all the moms out there.
Can I tell you, Naka, you reveal the things that you reveal about yourself, say so much about you. Like you and your ex are not together, and there you were at her house for Mother's Day with her mama. Look at that. Like, you're not a dirtball, because if you were, you wouldn't be at the table. You wouldn't even be through the door, okay? Your daddy's in the driveway. That's what it would be on some that shit. Like, nigga don't even come to the door.
Yeah,
I love that about you. That says a lot to me about you. So good on you.
Well, thank you. I mean, that's my partner till life.
Oh, wow.
We business partners for the end of to our time. I mean, we gotta make sure these kids are straight. We gotta make sure that they see how you cannot be together and still have a good relationship. And and just be mature about stuff. So,
Look
and
at
who
the
wants to
adulting.
have beef with
Wow.
yeah, who wants to have beef with their ex? That's
Listen, man, some people like to live in misery out here, Naka, okay?
you said it.
exes
Speaking of
to the
living in
deep
misery, come
ocean.
out, K. Franklin. It wasn't me, Kamal. It wasn't me. She threw the alley-oop up, and I just said, ah.
When I heard it, I knew it. When I heard it, I knew it. I knew it.
What's good, bro?
I'm doing good. I'm doing, relatively good. I'm doing decent. I'm doing all right.
What you do for your old lady for Mother's
Ooh, wow.
Hiking.
Nice.
The family went hiking.
Beautiful.
That's
And
a
the
nice
kids complained all the way through, of course.
nice cheap date. I like it.
So when you and the kids went hiking, what did he get to?
Hiked with.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought the gift was you took the children away.
No, the idea was everybody goes hiking together, and then have the kids complain every 3 steps.
Oh, I know.
Hungry and miserable and don't blah blah blah. After promising me they would be. What email? Oh, sorry.
Look at you in the chat room, man. You can't even finish a sentence.
Wow.
I know. It just because it caught my eye. It was like respond to my email. I was like, email. Okay, I will respond today. As soon as you come on as a guest host of.
Who are you talking about?
Elon.
There you go.
My main person.
Your main Dookie.
What happened to our third? Is that done? Is that over?
Well, the thing about I tell people about podcasts is consistency.
True.
So I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Okay. Damn.
It ain't easy. 4 years we've been here.
I mean, don't we kind of have like a loose kind of drop in?
Whoa! Are we making excuses over here for your sister? Are we making excuses for your sister over here? Is this
excuses? It's not excuses.
Are you sure? That's why your face ain't even straight trying to say it.
Because I'm gonna take up for women against y'all suckers automatically. You know what I'm saying? But no, I'm just playing. But I know. I mean, listen. If you're able, you're able. I mean, to your point, Ear Doctor, consistency is key. Like, nigga, I do not make it here every Tuesday. Sometimes, right? Sometimes I be hitting the Ear Doctor at 8:42. My bad. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hey Rob, okay, it's not a podcast. God, you got it.
What's the difference, people? Isn't it a podcast? Aren't we? We're not a podcast.
I mean, it depends on if we on Apple streaming, then we're considered a podcast. If we on video, then we're considered a show. I mean,
streamers, or do we? No, we're not streamers.
I don't know.
Are we?
Is a podcast video? Is that possible?
We're over 40, A-Rob. We just do this shit. We're aunts and uncles. I mean, what do you want from us?
When I agreed to start doing these type of things with Ear Doctor, I thought it was all audio. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, I know the audience was going to lose all of this, but I was just like, oh, audio, that's cool. That's easy. You don't got to worry about anything else. And then him and your man, whose name I guess won't be, we can say Kalanji, right?
Yeah, fuck it. Big up to that dude.
Big up to Kalanji. Yeah. Ear Doctor and Kalanji kind of, I know.
Now it's all no. I was like, I said, nah, bro, we gotta take this bigger. I'm not gonna be just sitting in this small ass room listening to y'all knuckleheads. Yeah. We're gonna make some money off the. Oops, did I say that?
It wasn't ever the purpose for something.
No, not at all. It was, yeah.
Then we started doing video. And now I've been stuck on video ever since, whatever.
Yeah.
Because how could y'all deny the world those faces?
All this.
That's right. Big up to Loose Weed, Playback Sounds TV in the building.
Oh!
Yes, my brother Loose.
Oh, my man. And I think I've had the same V-neck since that time. This is like an older.
You are not lying. You're not lying.
This might have been my first podcast. Was like this blue V-neck I had.
So
a close facsimile.
Yeah. So just to fuck with y'all, I'm gonna continue to call this a podcast. All right.
Ear Doctor was telling me before we went live, because apparently a couple of y'all had some comments in the chat pertaining to Ear Doctor's thumbnail. Air
Oh,
Doctor said he loved being the heel. He said he grew up watching wrestling, as did I'm sure most of us did. Which heel are you, Ed? I feel like you're almost like you're more
Iron Sheik.
Okay, you say Iron Sheik. I'm thinking Ravishing Rick Rude. My
Oh,
nigga.
right.
Oh yeah, ravishing.
Rick Rude, boy. He's coming there, show. And don't forget the Four Horsemen, my boy Ric Flair. Woo! Come
Now,
on.
Ric Flair is an interesting character to me because Black Gen X men love Ric Flair.
Yeah,
They
that's
love
so
that
true,
nigga.
B. And I don't understand it.
He's a white
I'm
pimp.
Gen
He's a white pimp.
X. Is that why? Because of the
Yeah.
pimp? Yeah. Okay.
Gator walking.
Gator snapping.
Snap.
Gator snapping. Gold chain swinging, diamond pinky ring blinging.
Talk that shit. And all you ladies out here, you want to go home with me. Woo! Yeah. Ric Flair, boy.
Wow.
Stop playing. One of Killer Mike's best songs, Ric Flair, actually.
Wow.
Can't say nothing bad about Ric Flair in front of black men 40 and over. Don't let niggas find out Ric Flair was a racist. They're not gonna believe it. They say not Rick.
Not Rick. Not Rick. I was hurt when I heard with Hulk Hogan after he called everybody brother and found out he was.
Oh yeah.
Damn,
He's mad racist. He got some black girl fired from some young black woman. I guess he was doing she was, I guess, the main spokesperson of some product he was supposed to be in a commercial with. Basically, he got her fired to get replaced with some blonde woman.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Look at Minister Server. They said Kalanji, renegade culture for life. Word. Yeah, I was just talking to somebody how I would stay up all night and edit those podcasts. So,
Stay up all night.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Really?
A 2-hour show that had to be ready the next morning. Yeah, that was me.
What would you have to edit it down to? Or you were editing it down to 2 hours?
I was editing it. I was adding in different commercials. Just like it's the same template for this show.
I got you.
Yeah, breaks and all that stuff. So, a lot of work. But
That is a lot of work,
night.
Doctor.
Yeah, all-nighters. Anyway.
Randy Savage. I used to
Randy
that was my
Savage.
favorite villain. Yeah.
Yeah,
Randy.
Oh, yeah. Take a bite out of Slim Jim.
Take a bite out of Slim Jim. Macho Man.
You talk about abusive to Elizabeth. Oh my God, that was the worst.
Yo,
he's like, yo, you stay right there and you don't move.
Right, Elizabeth used to be on TV looking shook. Is this normal? is this regular?
I know. We was like,
and as a kid, you thought it was, didn't you? We all were like, oh, that's you.
Of course, because my mother wasn't watching wrestling with me. She wasn't, giving, context of what was going on. So wrestling, a lot of wild shit was allowed to fly in front of an audience mostly made up of kids.
Before we go next, speaking of, we just had Mother's Day. We talked about that. Big up to all the mothers. What's one of your fondest memories of your mom? I would say mine is watching wrestling with my mom and her throwing me on the bed. 1, 2, 3. That was my watching wrestling with my mom and roller derby was the highlight. What's one of yours?
Playing spades and cards together.
What?
Rummy 500. My mom, not spades, Rummy 500. My mama taught me to play Rummy 500. And there was a time period where we would play it a lot. And that was always fun.
Big up to your mom's up wherever she is. What about you, Kim?
Wherever she is, Ear Doctor? You mean because y'all are disbelievers, so I got it.
No. Yeah, I mean, giving a nod to assume. I guess he was pointing to the heavens.
Yeah, that's why. Then I thought about who I was talking to, and
I was like,
yeah.
Can y'all see this?
Oh.
What is that about?
I don't know. What's that about? I don't know. It's reflex. I'm having spasms in my fingers. My bad.
F y'all. What? What was that about?
Your mama? Teaching you how to do the middle finger? Was that?
I'm just making sure y'all can see me. So if I do sign language, y'all do resonate with that. That's cool.
What is your thing with your mama?
My mom and I have been to a number of very cool concerts. I remember when she took me, I think, to see Sesame Street Live when I was a little kid. I remember, I mean, she and I have been to a bunch of shows ourselves. We've seen Kamal's favorite artist, Sade.
Nice.
We've seen Larry Graham. We've seen Paul McCartney. We've seen like some really cool concerts. But really, one of my fondest memories about my mom will be one that I was not with her. I was living in St. Louis. The Roots were on tour. They were doing a cool show where Big Daddy Kane and MC Lyte, they like the Roots were backing up Big Daddy Kane and MC Lyte, right? And the show was not coming to St. Louis. And I was devastated that I wasn't going to be able to see it, but it was coming to Baltimore. So I bought my mom 2 tickets. I said, Mama, you got to go to the show for me. You got to go to the show for me. I want to be there. And Mama went with one of her coworkers who was about my age. And she had a blast. She had a blast at the Root show. So the fact that my mom at her age at that time was adventurous and willing enough to go to something recommended by her daughter, I said, look at that.
I like
Love
that.
that.
That's nice.
Let's see your mom. I'm gonna take her out for a cup of tea.
Oh, she's like Air Doctor. My mother's a huge fan. My mom is a big. She's constantly telling me stuff. I'm about to give her your number because there's so much stuff she sends me that she wants me to send you. I'm like, Mama, I'm gonna give you his number here. You can.
I'll give you my email. I give you my Yahoo email.
Hilarious.
I was like,
but yeah, no, my mom's a big fan. She watches the show every morning.
I love you, Mom.
Okay to Mama.
That's dope. That's dope. All right. Well, I guess it's time to get into it. We got a lot of stuff going on. We got, as y'all can see on the thumbnail, we got your boy Trump is on some drug dealing. So, you know, we're gonna get into that. Oh yeah, we got that. We got what else is going on? There's something else big. We got the Diddy trial going on. We got all types of stuff, man.
There's a lot.
It's a lot. So let's go ahead and get to it right here on no other than the Remix Morning Show. Let's go. So I get lifted, y'all. A little bit of George McCrae going on there right there. Welcome out to the Remix Morning Show. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor. Thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Go to patreon.com. Become a member over there. Get footage that's rare. And where can you donate? Well, guess where? blkliberationmedia.org. That's right. blkliberationmedia.org. And guess what? Swag is coming, y'all. The swagoo is coming. So y'all get ready to get y'all summer shirts and all that thing. All right. Let's talk about the weather, man. I know y'all been waiting. Let's start off in the ATL. ATL got a high today of 73 degrees, which is kind of cool. This weather is cold one day, hot the next. Crazy. DC, we looking at a high of BK, Brooklyn. High is 66 degrees. Chicago, 63. Houston is 91. Compton, big up to Compton. Pop out and show out on them. They got a high of 62 degrees. In Haiti, they got a high of 87 degrees. And last but not least, let's talk about Indominia, Chad. They got a high of 101. You talk about hot. Now, that is hot. But you know what else is kind of hot or got me kind of hot? Was this brother that goes by the name of LGP Kwa from Philly. Great young soul that just had a transition this weekend from getting shot down. Let me put you on to him real quick.
Philly, that's the place where I was born at. On the north side, where the lights was never on at. We window shop before we really shop. We can't afford that. They banning laws. They telling all the girls you can't abort that. 300 murders, and it's still counting. Shit is serious. My young at 12, used to the murder. Ain't scared of it, cause he from North Philly where you bound to see some scary shit. You die with a frown on his face. He dead serious. Nobody safe. Kids killing kids. Nobody raising them. Sidewalks, all the playgrounds. Nobody played them. He couldn't aim. He caught a half a kill. They still was praising him, cause all the shots he threw, they hit his back, and that disabled them. When I was young, we played freeze tag and had fun. You can't move until somebody touch you, then it's lit again. Nowadays, they still play tag, but with switches, and believe me, when they tag you, you ain't never gonna be it again.
Whoo, that boy was nice. We talking about some conscious, young, hood, Meek Mill type energy. Real dope. Brother got shot down this weekend, man. Sad thing. With that said, let's go ahead and get back to it because the rain falls right here with the Remix Morning Show. Let's go. Sorry to leave on a bad note there, but
Very sorry to hear that. What was the young brother's name again, Ear Doctor?
LGP Qua.
Man, he was spitting right there. I love the social
He
commentary, observations, and he had flow too. Sheesh.
Yeah, he had the block jumping, man. I love the fact that he was on some positive, and everybody was like, yo, he's the positive rapper that we need right now. It's coming out that's got street worthy credit. He been to jail for a quick second, got out, and was like, yo, let me change this around. So big up to his family and all that. Yeah.
Be easy, Philly.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, sorry to end that on a note, but that's life. With that said, I'll catch y'all on the rebound. Peace.
Thank you, Ear Doctor. Kamau, you ready to step into the news on this good rainy? Is it raining where you are?
It is not currently, although the last 3 days in Atlanta, it's been nonstop, on again, off again rain. Yeah.
It's raining here right now. We need the rain though. So, Ear Doctor, let's step into the news. Go. Peace, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to the Remix Morning Show right here on Black Liberation Media on this good Tuesday, May the 13th, 2025. It's a full moon today, y'all, so be on your P's and Q's, okay? As you see, shit gets a little hectic. My name is Kim Brown. We've got Kamau K. Franklin joining us along with the Ear Doctor in the Cut Remixers. Thank you as always. We appreciate y'all making time, spending time, hanging out with your kinfolk in the chat and talking shit about the people on screen. No problem.
And I've gotten no email, by the way, as a side note. Elon, I ain't got no email from you. KamalFranklin@gmail.com. I've gotten no email. Maybe you wrote it wrong. You can't spell Kamal. I don't know what's happening, but I got no email from you. And that's for you too, God is cool. Like backing that up. I got no email. Sorry. Yeah.
Kamal.
Yes.
Now, if you trying to tell me that 2 people got your email wrong, I'm not sure.
Well, they claiming in the chat so like they could say like answer their email. It's like, what email? Oh, from BAP DC. Oh, my bad. Okay. So BAP DC. But it was a personal email that you sent me or something like that.
No.
Okay, I'm on it. Okay, goddess, I got you. I'm on it.
See, I knew 2 people. I knew 2 people, and probably especially those 2 people. I know 2 people did not get your email wrong.
Okay, I gotta look at my email. I didn't reply to you. God, geez, there's a lot of people asking me questions.
You need to get out the chat, Nick. How are we supposed to have a show unless we can spend the show just like this?
No, my name is not Amber. I'm not going to be in the chat like that yet. Anytime my name is mentioned, Kamau getting pressed by the chat. I love it.
Shout out to Amber, by the way.
Love Amber.
I like that young lady. She's got spunk. I'm a fan.
I'm also a fan.
Where should we start off? Get out the chat, Kamau. I see you.
No. I was back. I'm out. I'm back. I'm here. I'm centered. I was pulling up with the first story.
Let's get it. And there's so many stories. I don't even know what you could just literally throw a dart. You see that Politico piece about Eric Prince, Black Rock, behind the idea to make CCOT in El Salvador U.S. territory so they can legally send niggas there.
Send me. I will bring that up.
I don't have it. But well, I mean, but it's a lot. I mean, pick one. To talk about the suspension of the writ of habeas corpus by this government.
My first one.
Pull up the story you got, Kamau.
My first one I got. I mean, I think we all should be happy. You know, there are some people who are experiencing a genocide. white South Africans granted refugee status by Trump arrive in the United States. This is an interesting tale. President Trump has halted essentially refugee admissions on his first day in office before creating a pathway for Afrikaners, a white ethnic minority that ruled during apartheid. I don't even like calling them Afrikaners. You know what I mean? Like they're Europeans, they're Boers, whatever, but that's not with the African thing. But it says dozens of white South Africans arrived in the United States on Monday on a chartered jet after being granted refugee status by the Trump administration, which has made it virtually impossible for any other refugees to seek haven in the United States or in America. The arrival represents a drastic reversal in the United States refugee policies, which have long focused on helping people fleeing war, famine, and genocide. The South Africans say they have been discriminated against, denied job opportunities, and have been subject to violence because of their race, though the specifics of their cases are unclear. Farmers are being killed, Mr. Trump told reporters before leaving for a trip to the Middle East. They happen to be white. Whether they are white or black makes no difference to me. White farmers are being brutally killed, and the land is being confiscated in South Africa. And so here it says the South African police data does not support the narrative of mass murder. From April 2020 to 24, 225 people were killed in farms on South Africa, according to the police, but many of the victims, over 100, were current or former workers living on farms who are mostly black. It says 53 of the victims were farmers who were usually white. I'll read the last couple. It says, Mr. Trump focused on a small group of refugees only serves to underscore the tens of thousands of people all over the world whom his administration has decided to keep out, including Afghans who helped the U.S. soldiers during the war in Afghanistan, and Congolese citizens who had already been vetted and cleared to travel before Trump took office. So they do not say. So far on Sunday, 59 people have been lifted over. 8,000 have expressed interest. The U.S. government has been planning to resettle the Afrikaners in states including Iowa, Idaho, and New York, according to people with the plan. According to people with knowledge of the plan. So yeah, that's it. So we have some more refugees. I guess what's not noted is that whites, although a small minority of the population in South Africa, control the vast majority of the farmland in South Africa. And unfortunately, and I say that, unfortunately, there's been no confiscation of the land in terms of redistribution, which many people have been calling for decades, since the official fall of apartheid. But if that is yet to happen, because the ANC refuses to do so, and part of the deal was to cater to a capitalist economic structure, which continue to allow white farmers and white industrialists to keep land and resources that really belongs to the South African people. So there we go.
You know, it's an unsurprising slap in the face to all the folks that, you know, you mentioned the Congolese, you know, other nationalities who have been granted temporary protected status here because they were legitimately fleeing some sort of violence or, you know, overt threat from the state or other entities. And here come these white Afrikaners who in spite of being a racial minority, hold the majority of the political power in South Africa still, just by virtue of them being white. And I saw part of the press conference from the delegation that they sent out to Dulles Airport to greet these crackers coming in from South Africa. And part of the verbiage was, you know, we wanted to bring in a group of persecuted people who could easily assimilate. I said, well, ding, ding, ding. There you go. White and speak English. But South African TikTok is cackling because they're saying that these white Afrikaners that are coming over here, they're going to be in for a shock for how capitalism on steroids the United States is, right? You're not going to be able to live in a house, South Afrikaners, and be able to pay, let's say, a house staff $15 a week as you're able to get away with in South Africa. Like the lifestyle that I think that they are accustomed to, or the social dynamics that they are accustomed to, are not going to be. Maybe that's why they're sending them to Iowa and Idaho. Probably upstate New York would be my guess.
Yeah, I was thinking upstate New York. Yeah, I was like, no way, they're sending them to New York City. Yeah, and I'm sure, like the resettlement plan will include land, it will include resources and government resources. They're going to make sure them whites are all right. I'm sure about that. They're going to check in weekly with their favorites, make sure that the blacks or any other minorities are not bothering them, encroaching on their recovery from the mass genocide that they're experiencing in their homeland of South Africa. It's amazing. Yeah.
These are not the best of the best. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially in comparison to the hoops that folks coming from the global South have to jump through to come here, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, perfect, damn near. You gotta be flawless. I sincerely doubt this rabble are coming here with 100% clean hands in any direction. So.
No, I think, lastly for me, like, I think these are the failed whites in South Africa. These are the ones. I mean, because otherwise, when 78% or 80% of the land is owned by the whites, the farm, this is the 22% that owns nothing or whatever. Or this is the percentage of the whites who obviously own nothing, and be like, are they going to give us any? They're probably giving them some money for setup, like, so-called welfare they're getting. But these can't be the whites who are doing well, because they would not have left. They're like, why would I leave? Or like, they're just gonna, the whites who own the land, they're just hiring militias or security to surround them. There was another story we showed the other day where they purchased land as to have their own so-called liberated territory, where they didn't allow blacks to come in to their space on their land in South Africa. So these are probably, like you said, like the failed whites. But they'll have aspirations and they'll get support, so they won't be failed for too long.
They won't. That's what America is about, propping up mediocre whites. That's fucked up. And that's not 100% true. I was going to say, if you white, you can't make it in the, and that's not true. Class and all kinds of things play into it. But god damn, it's a big booster. It helps. It doesn't hurt usually.
Yeah. It's a marker. It's a sign of, like, you get the possibilities, or like, And what was it? They did a survey. I mean, this is now an old survey that folks would talk about, but they would put a black celebrity in front of some working class white person and say, black who has all the money and the resources, and would you trade lives with that person or be that person? And the vast majority would come out like, oh no. I think it was Chris Rock. Somebody's like, I'm gonna ride this white thing out. I'm gonna this may take me someplace. The racism is deep. It's deep in the culture. Deep in their culture.
Indeed.
Okay. I found an Eric Adams story. Is this about a military base he's trying to do or something?
What? No, I was talking about Eric Prince.
I'm sorry. Eric Prince says military contractors pitch unprecedented prison plan for detained immigrants.
Though I will say, you saying Eric Adams is proposing a military base, I said, really? Where?
Would not be that far off. So let me pull this story up about Eric Prince. And Eric Prince, who we know was a military contractor, if I'm not mistaken, started Blackwater, right?
That is correct. Betsy DeVos's brothers.
Betsy DeVos's brother, military contractor who was able to, again, make hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars off of creating basically an international militia. Was given permission, contracts, licenses, everything that they needed in order to fulfill U.S. military missions overseas in security, particularly in Iraq, where they were known to be a force that would pull. I was going to say a force that would ravage the populations of Iraq, and was known for killing and murdering citizens, abusing citizens. But again, it somehow fit into the U.S. ultra-capitalist type of plans in terms of privatizing military and paying them the money directly. So here it says former Blackwater CEO Eric Prince and a team of defense contractors are pitching the White House on a plan to vastly expand deportations to El Salvador, transporting thousands of immigrants from U.S. holding facilities to a sprawling maximum security prison in Central America. The proposal, exclusively obtained by Politico, says it would target criminal illegal aliens and would attempt to avoid legal challenges by designating part of the prison, which has drawn accusations of violence and overcrowding from human rights groups, as American territory. It is unclear how seriously the White House is considering the plan by Prince, who has drawn scrutiny from his firm's role in a deadly massacre in Iraq decades ago, but it would give Prince's group an unprecedented and potentially highly lucrative role in an expanded version of a transnational operation that has elicited its own web of controversies, in part because of the swept-up immigrants who do not have criminal records in the United States. Says the group has had multiple talks with administration officials, and the ideas laid out in the proposal are likely to be a top subject in the bilateral meetings with El Salvador at the White House next week, according to two people familiar with Prince's proposal and an administration official granted anonymity to discuss the information that has not been previously made public. I think they're taking it seriously, actually. I was like, what makes you think they're not going to take this plan seriously?
Why not? I mean, every right-wing extremist ideology plan thus far is being executed at the pen of the, executive order. Why wouldn't this one be considered? And Trump has already said it. And this is the opening salvos, basically. If the US and the people of this country tolerate legal migrants, even undocumented migrants, people being sent without due process to this abroad prison, supermax, basically. I mean, who's next? Like there is no stopping them. They're doing this to migrants to see whether or not they can do it to dissidents next.
Yep.
And they're going to use the legal justification. Well, we're sending them to a U.S. territory. Holy shit! The prison is the U.S. territory. Come out, like, that's bonkers? This is insanity.
It's like Guantanamo, right? Guantanamo sits in Cuba, a base that the Cubans do not want, that the Cubans reject. Fidel Castro was famous for not accepting the checks that the U.S. would cut every year, according to the agreement between the former Cuban dictatorship, Batista, and the United States government. He would not accept it, but he was not powerful enough to make the United States actually move off of the base into this very day. 70 years now, 60, 70 years post the revolution, that the United States still maintains a military base in Cuba, where it takes people who are off-site, off U.S. territory, not subject to the so-called norms of civil procedure, not subject to the norms of due process, who can sit there again for 20, 30 years without a trial. This will be no different. And they have black sites where they do this already. So this is just an expansion of policy that already exists, but one that you said will be on a massive scale. And there's no reason to believe that El Salvador, the current government of El Salvador, won't accept this deal. They'll get I'm sure the individuals will get a handsome payout. I'm sure they will. So, and there'll be jobs for El Salvadorians as prison guards. There'll be a lucrative fee that the United States will pay to hold each so-called prisoner in the jails or in the prison, which means there'll be an emphasis on keeping them there as long as possible, because once they start paying, those companies, those private prisons, want to continue to private/public, in this case, when they continue to receive those payments. So there's no reason why he won't take it seriously, right? I think and he's close to the family. It's not like there's some distant nuts that he don't know. They're his nuts. He's nutty and they're nutty. Why wouldn't they consider this to be a good idea?
Yeah, Trump is prone to listen to white men that he considers to be smart guys. Oh, he's such a smart guy. He's a smart guy. The suspension of the writ of habeas corpus, which we are already seeing again being enacted against migrants, legal and undocumented. When you hear an administration use those terms and openly explore that for all to hear. Like, so you know, that portion of Trump's news of the past couple of days is not something that a media outlet had to uncover and unearth. They stood up in front of microphones and said that they are considering this. And Kamau, as a lawyer, talk to us about habeas corpus, right? Because it's a Latin phrase, though I would imagine it was stolen by the Euros. The concept of habeas corpus, Latin, what, produce the body? Is that what habeas corpus?
Yes. Bring the body in front of the judge, so that there could be some decision on due process rights or civil rights or constitutional rights. And like you said, as opposed to there's several court cases happening now where the United States has either refused to or has moved, claiming to the court that they didn't get the order. This was outside the jurisdiction. They won't necessarily tell the judge exactly where the person is being held. So there's all these things that are happening that is outside so-called due process and outside what is considered to be standard procedure for, like, if a judge says that this person must be produced in order to have a hearing go forth, that is what's going to happen. And like you said, like this is all being tested with not only people who are considered illegal, but people who are considered legal residents, right? People who are here not only on visas, but people who have a legal residency status. And then the question becomes how soon before this is impacting actual so-called citizens. And as I'm saying that, I'm remembering that already 2 U.S. kids, like you so-called U.S. citizen children, were deported with their mother, who was considered an illegal alien. So that is, again, in these time periods, somewhat unprecedented, in that these kids are U.S. citizens according to the definition of citizenship, and so therefore there is no way for them to be able to deport them. They said the mother they kind of forced the mother into giving permission by forcing her out and taking her kids. But it's clearly encroaching on the idea that somehow citizenship matters, and or somehow the judicial side of the government also matters. So all of the stuff, like you said, is being the executive branch, and Congress is obviously doing nothing, since particularly it's controlled by the Republican wing of the government. So all these things are happening where the executive branch is taking, again, it's always been the lead branch of the government, but it's taking these enormous new steps in terms of ignoring judicial orders, because it basically feels like a couple of ways about it. One, the judges don't have any army or police force. Remember, the security for most of the judges are provided by the executive branch through U.S. Marshals. And so what are they going to do? And then we just had that case a few weeks ago where a judge was actually arrested because when ICE showed up in the court trying to detain someone that the judge was just about to sort of adjudicate a case, the judge actually did the right thing in this case and tried to hold them off. In all honesty, tried to provide a passageway for the person to get out. And the Trump administration decided to press charges against the judge.
You know, all of this is making me think about what fresh hell awaits Black people in this country, right? Like, once they've deported a sizable chunk of migrants, like, I feel like there's a plan for us. You know what I'm saying? There's always a plan for the Black folks, and they want to keep us around. You know, like, I was having a conversation with somebody, and they pointed out, they were like, you know, they like us, even though they hate us. We're who they're used to, right? Like, Asian immigrants coming here, Latino immigrants coming here, African immigrants coming here, people coming here speaking different languages confuses white folks, and it scares them, right? Like, they want their niggas back. You know what I'm saying? Like,
in their place, doing
their place.
Yes.
So it's like, what's in store? Like, once they try to deport 12 million people, and they're left with 40 million just Negroes just sitting there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I was on this other show, great show, I think Black Awakening, and one of the guest callers came in and started going down that conservative immigration path. And I was like, look, B, let me just tell you, like, obviously some of this ADOS talk, or what is it, FBA, the other one they use. And it was like, look, I support nothing that involves the deportation of immigrants from their own land. I don't care whether they're legal or illegal, whether whatever. I was like, there was no borders when they were around. They might have sections and areas people traveled in, but certainly there wasn't any line border. And and strategically speaking, the more the whites are in the minority, I feel better off about it. I feel a lot better off. It doesn't mean that whites won't like rule from the minority position, of course, right? They'll use the savagery that's at their hands to continue to rule. But the less, to me, the less numbers in terms of they make up, the better. So I'm like, you know, I'm completely open board. I was like, let everybody in, let them in. Like it to me, it deludes, because I completely agree with you. It's then and now, you know, the whole idea that somehow these conservative policies of taking immigrants out of the country because they're quote unquote taking our jobs. Like what job were you going for that these folks are taking? Why would you even believe that? Right? The rhetoric just makes no sense whatsoever. It's like, oh, they're racist. It's like, and the whites aren't. So you somehow the people who have oppressed us for upwards of 400 or 500 years and stolen our people or raped and enslaved and whatever, have lynched our people and all the rest of it. Those people are not the races you're concerned about. You're concerned about the potential prejudice someone who's brought here to not to be terrible about it, but someone who's brought here to work farmland, someone who's brought here to cook in stores. That's the racism or the prejudice that you're worried about, not the white folks who already have a whole system set up in order to make their racism work. That to me, that's the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life. And when I hear these folks sort of parrot that line, it's like we've lost our minds, you know.
There's a lot of that rhetoric come out, and it's so disheartening when I hear it. I recall looking on, you know, TikTok again. This was several months ago, but there was like a big meeting in Chicago amongst the community, and it was a lot of Black folks very upset about the migrants, the number of migrants that were being bused to Chicago from the southern border, and this, I suppose, a fear that, you know, they're going to take up all of our resources and they're out on the streets and they're blah, 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 and they're this and they're that. And I'm like, first of all, don't think that any of the so-called resources that are going to these migrants, don't think it was going to you. If it didn't go to them, they wasn't going to redirect it back to the Black folks, however minuscule it is. And then these tales that get told about, you know, folks getting like $10,000 when they get to Chicago or they get to New York, undocumented people. And I'm like, come on, y'all. Y'all don't believe this stuff, right? Like just the shit that people go for. And I'm like, y'all sound like the crackers talking about us, about welfare. How come they get all this? How come they get all that? I'm like, y'all, we have a common enemy. To Ricky Ryan's point, like, if the Arabs are anti-Black, if the Latinos are anti-Black, guess what? The whites are not pro them simply because they are anti-Black. You understand? So if they don't get it, fuck them. But we still have common enemies, common goals here that we can achieve independent of blah, blah, blah. Like, knock it off. Like, the whites are the bigger threat here than the undocumented migrants coming to town.
Yeah, I don't remember the undocumented migrants having a whole system of repression and oppression. I just don't remember that part of the history lesson where I should be so scared at somebody working in the bodega or working in a restaurant. Like, oh my God, they taking my job. You weren't going for that. You weren't even. I mean, it's just the parroting. Is like, that's the thing. Is like you're parroting like some cracker who 5 minutes ago was saying the same. In fact, one of their big speeches now is that they say the first migration that caused all the problems was the rich slave owners who imported the slaves. And they were like, see where that's got us. That's their thinking now, right? This is what the white conservative is saying, is like one reason they're against the immigration of others besides the Anglo-Saxons from coming over here is that the first mass migration, according to them, now in their sort of new theory of white control, was Africans who were enslaved. And since then, they have been left with having to deal with us and our criminal and slothy ways.
Oh, wow.
That is their talking point.
With the audacity.
That is their talking point now. We were the first immigrants, illegal immigrants, who've proven ourselves unworthy to live amongst them.
Oh, wow.
As we were enslaved. And then that's the parody. And then you got, like you said, you got these black folks parroting with these same people, this conservative ideological perspective around immigrants and what their so-called contribution or lack of contribution is to this country. That's their big point. That's what that's crazy to me.
It is crazy work. And I would imagine a lot of those black folks that I saw complaining were likely Cop Mala voters. They weren't MAGAs. You know what I'm saying? They weren't MAGA people. They sounded like MAGA people, but I'm sure they were very reliable Democrats.
Yep. No, I completely agree. All right. So we did those two stories. It feels like it's time for a break. We got the ear doctor coming back up.
Yeah. Did y'all talk about Ras Baraka and the ICE? Them
Not
getting
yet.
him?
Not
Okay.
yet. We've done a couple of stories. I figured when we come back, we'll do some more stories.
Okay, good. Yeah, I was going to put boric acid around the house. You know, these water bugs be trying to come in now that it's getting warmer. Some people call them roaches.
I was about to say, the concept of water bugs is very Southern, because my granny used to say, my granny used to call them water bugs. And then I remember I came home and I'm like, that is a roach.
But water bugs are a little bit bigger than roaches. These motherfuckers can fly and everything, man. They look, they crazy. But yeah, you got to do that. It's about that time, y'all. Get your house right. Yeah.
But hold on, about Ras Baraka on Saturdays with Renee. Renee said it was a PR stunt. I believe Renee.
Oh, word?
Yeah.
Okay.
We should talk more about it. Yeah. We should talk, because he's now running for governor, right? Isn't he running for governor now?
Word?
That's the thing, is that he wants to now run for governor or whatever.
Wow, we gotta give.
We can talk more about it. You know, I used to rock with Ras back in the day when he was an organizer.
Okay.
Does he have a flair for the dramatic? Would he be capable of staging such an event?
Always. This dude would talk. He thought, again, everybody was young, but he was the son of a famous, one of the most famous black radicals ever on the planet alive. But he would start the spiel, and you'd be like 40 minutes later, it's like, hey, you are not Fidel Castro. I gotta go. What is going on here? Like sitting by the window, looking out the window, like the cops are on them. This was like in the 80s. I love an organized. Again, I definitely think there's reasons for all of us to be nervous or whatever like that. But sometimes it's the people who are being the most nervous, who are doing, in my humble estimation, the least amount of work that would cause anybody to stop you from whatever. But these are the people who are constantly putting out, at least in my world, the threats or the ideas around how much trouble we are all in or going to be. Again, another friend who remained nameless. One time we was going to do something, and they just kept talking about the security issues.
Oh,
security. And it's like, you're not out in this. You're not doing no work right now. What are you doing? What are you so concerned about?
Affiliation, Kamal. Affiliation.
Okay.
We'll come back.
So Ras was one of these people who could definitely stage something for his own or whatever. But we'll talk a little bit more about Ras when we come back.
Hey, big up to Goddess Crew, always caping for colonizers' language and stuff like that.
Oh my.
Yeah, big up. She was probably back
read
in the
out
day.
The comment,
read out the comment. Could you put since you're in the chat, can you put
back in the day saying, no, it's not massa, it's master. Okay, whatever. All right, let's go ahead and take a quick break right here.
Master.
Remix morning. I ain't shit. I know it. All right, it's a remix on the remix, y'all.
I'm quite single and occasionally I mingle. But aside from all the rest, she sparks my interest. No, ma'am, I don't know you. Just offering the common respect I feel I owe you. Also, some conversation, companionship, common ground, and common sense. There's no such thing as coincidence. And me finding you here, and I really hate screaming in your ear. So some of the time, okay? I waited today. Hello, it's Carlito from a couple of days ago. You sound tired. Forgive me if I call you too late. But what better time to relate my state? Where could I begin? Has anyone ever told you got beautiful skin? You're more than welcome. What did you decide within? I just want to be. There's no need to put titles on you and me. Those are limitations. Living and learning are our only obligations. Equality, honesty, independence, intelligence, emotion, and devotion. Humbly seeking to hear God when He's speaking. At one time, my mind just couldn't conceive. A woman had to dress a certain way to believe. But in the same breath, allow me to say that if you believe, young lady, you wouldn't dress that way. And I was attracted to your class. I couldn't see all your ass, and I was very content. You deserve every compliment. Now, remember how indifferences make up the same. You gotta have the game, or you ain't even gonna be able to take care of yourself. And love, when I look at you, I see my reflection. So I offer my love, affection, and protection.
All right, let me take you to a time and place. Let me take you back to 1998 with that Goody Mob album, Still Standing. The name of that song is Beautiful Skin, mixed with a little bit of 2016. That is Arrow and Fonte, also known as Eric Roberson and Fonte, off that album Tigalero. The name of that song is Never the Same Smile. All right, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, go to patreon.com, become a member over there, get footage that's rare, and yes, donate at blkliberationmedia.org. And we will very much appreciate your support on that. We are demonetized as a channel, so that will help us get through. All right, with that said, let's keep it going and get back in our crew. You know how they do right here on the Remix Morning Show. Let's go.
Yeah. We turn the page and she forgave, but it was never the same smile.
I'm telling you, Fontiga is a beast out here.
It's a nice groove.
Yeah. Kamal apparently
He had to drop the kids off at the pool.
Yeah, pretty much. You know, he thought he could make it through another one, but that bladder was like, you know me.
Vibe and vibe again.
Yeah. So yeah.
Who's one of your most favorite, obviously known problematic rappers? Because there's such a list. I have such a list.
Problematic. That does crazy shit.
Harmful shit. Either known or alleged. I'll give you one of my top. Let me give you a top 3 real quick. Mystical Minds is on that list. I will throw CeeLo on that list because that also a bit of a problem.
I love me some 50 Cent. I ain't gonna lie. I love the pettiness of 50 Cent. I love how he get at people whenever they try to challenge him. And yeah, he just don't. He's like a bully. I can't front a lot.
And you love it. And you're saying you love it.
He asked for a problematic rapper, and I was like, yeah, I love how 50 Cent does. Yeah, he's the evil guy in the wrestling.
The heel.
He would be the heel.
He would be the heel. Yeah.
He's a great heel.
He's a good. Yeah, I agree with that.
So that's what it is. Anything else before I get out of here? No.
I'm gonna do the Ras Baraka story. You seem to like Ras. You want to stay for it?
I mean,
it's a Jersey story. Stay.
Represent. Let's get it. You know what I'm saying? Big up to the Goddess crew. You know, I'll be messing with all of my people, my chatters.
Everybody's gonna see each other soon.
Oh yeah.
In person. So when Goddess crew comes with a big chair, and y'all do some wrestling moves and stuff like that. You know.
I ain't worried.
Secretly love each other, and
Ricky got my back, so I ain't even worried.
I'm not sure. Ricky really likes Goddess Crew, Air Doctor. I don't know how much Ricky likes you. I mean, I'm sure she likes you, but I don't know if she likes you more than Goddess Crew. But let me not speak for Ricky. I do not
Goddess
know.
Crew and Elon. I think there's gonna be a little plan.
Don't forget about Jamila. That's the other cohort.
Oh, but I haven't seen Jamila in the chat. Oh, and Claudia would be there. I'm sure she'll join in on the team. Yeah, you're gonna just get attacked. I think you're just gonna get beat up.
You might get jumped there, Doctor.
Let's go.
Like the Tupac video where like Tupac was stomping on somebody.
Let's get it.
Like in Vegas, they all surrounded that dude. They're gonna be like, "Yo, come up on you and start." Just don't do it while he's doing the actual
recording of the
recording. Do it like he's taking a bathroom break.
Yeah,
that kind of thing. Like,
listen, y'all got to be funny about it though. When y'all jump in Air Doctor, y'all got to go bat.
That's good.
That would be hilarious. That would be hilarious.
Yeah, she said I'm beefing with all the females. Yeah, I mean,
Oh, it
wow.
looks
See,
that way though.
See, I see trying to set me up. I thought
looks that
Elon
way.
was a male at first.
Listen, I've been trying to. There's a person I know that I don't think that they're a misogynist at all. I really think that they love women and respect women, but they always seem to be in beef with women. And I'm like, yo, what is this? What's this?
I love women.
I know you do. I don't think that you don't strike me as a misogynist at all.
I love them.
And
all
yet,
right, where we at?
and yet, that's what we always do.
Here you are in these confrontations, low-level confrontations with women. What's up with that?
All right, Jersey, where we at?
Let's go.
All right, we got New Jersey's mayor. A New Jersey mayor's arrest at ICE facility fires up Democrats from New York to Chicago.
You don't say.
Line for this. Newark Mayor Ras Baraka's Friday arrest fired up liberal Democrats in and outside of New Jersey, turning his hours in federal custody into a political moment for progressives and the region's immigration activists, while boosting the mayor's national profile as he runs for governor. Free Ras Baraka, free Ras Baraka. Protesters chanted for hours outside the federal facility where Baraka was held Friday. He'd been arrested earlier that day at another protest outside an immigration detention center on trespassing charges. By the time he was released that night, a wave of support had formed following his arrest, which came after armed federal officers got involved in a scrum with 3 members of Congress who were seeking to tour a new Trump administration immigration and customs enforcement detention facility in Newark. At a time when the administration is defying judicial orders and flying migrants to other countries, the arrest of the city's mayor represented a new escalation. It seemed to engage a segment of Democrats who have so far struggled to effectively push back against Donald Trump's crackdown. But it seems certain to boost Baraka's simple sounding but hard to do plan to become New Jersey's next governor by turning out people who don't usually show up to vote, namely Black voters. As word spread that Baraka was in custody, Democrats from across the region gathered outside the field office to lead chants and give speeches to scores of immigrant right activists and Baraka supporters, including the mayor's elderly mother. And lastly, it says on social media, Democrats in the House and Senate, Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer, always who you want to have on your side, backed up Baraka. The mayor of Chicago said he was inspired by Baraka early in his career, calling for his immediate release. And so there you have it, Ras Baraka arrested at a protest. And I think there was a couple of other folks there at the protest too. Jaman Williams, public advocate of New York City. So this arrest, a staged arrest, attention.
How long was he held?
They said through the night, so I'd assume through I would assume like 5 or 6 hours for so-called processing purposes.
We kept him outside of the holding cell in the little room.
Yeah, I'm sure they sat him. Holding cell, I'm sure they made special orders to be like, what you need.
What you want for dinner?
Yeah.
Oh, they said 4 hours.
He is the mayor, whatever like that. Like, I'm sure they're not going to try to do too at this particular stage. But I definitely and I'm not even mad at I'm not individually mad at a staged arrest. You know, if it brings more lift to a situation. So those things are not necessarily terrible things, but I don't think they're necessarily a plan or a strategy for action. And I just don't see it as, and I don't necessarily even think it's motivating Democrats to come out in any mass numbers to support Democrats in defeating Trump or defeating Republicans or whatever. So,
do you think it was a good move for it being so many Italians and stuff in Jersey for him to go against ICE?
What?
I'll be back on the break.
No. What? What? Okay. All righty. I'm just gonna So the
I'm
other
laughing
thing,
more at your what than I am at the question. The question.
Why Italian? I don't even understand. Why did he get to the Italians? I don't understand. Is that like a mob joke? If they control Jersey, kind of? I'm lost. I'm lost.
You talking about Italian ICE? Is it a separate
Italian ICE
quadrant of Homeland Security? The Italian ICE? They go, what? What are you talking about? But
now the other thing that is happening with Ras Baraka is that he's making a run for governor. So some folks are also saying this was also a way of lifting his candidacy, so that he could somehow, like I just don't know.
Raise some money, Kamal. Come on, for people outside of the tri-state who have never heard of Ras Baraka. Oh, did you hear that black mayor? There's a dime. He sent him $37. That's a fundraising effort. And let me shout out again, Renee Johnston broke it down for us on Saturdays with Renee. Let me pair. I'm about to say it in my language, not Renee's language. Like Renee said, this nigga's a stunt king. She said, ain't no way that they would have really run up on Ras Baraka. And from what I understand, like this press conference at this facility that they had, like he was there the whole time. Whoever the congressional delegation was there, they were allowed to do their press conference in its entirety. And then all of a sudden, it's trespassing. 90 minutes later, it's trespassing. Like, what are we doing?
Mm-hmm. But I'm sure they pushed the issue too. Like again, like in terms of being staged, right? When they were told to leave, I'm sure they decided not to. I think I saw a little bit of the video where there was like the pushing and the shoving. So and I'm sure they got good camera angles of him getting arrested and in the crowd. So it was definitely a stage and or pre-planned arrest, right? There's no, to me, doubt about that from the point of view of his desire to take the arrest and then act, oh my God, they just arrested Ras Baraka or whatever like that. And again, I'm not necessarily mad at the stunt. I just don't know if the stunt will have the effect that he thinks it will have.
But look at what we're getting out of Black Democrats in particular. Stunts. Cory Booker, stunt. Who's a congressman who got the name as an R&B singer? What's his nigga name?
Oh,
they ran him up out of Congress.
Oh, Al Green?
Al Green. There we go. Al Green. Al Green. Look at these Democratic stunt kings and queens out here. They're here for the flair, for the photo opportunity, for the sensationalist. But what are we doing in the policy, kids? Where's the real opposition? What we doing?
I mean, Cory Booker's was the worst to me. Like the whole standing up there without peeing for like 20 hours is like, and then becomes the darling of the party for him to do what? To make another failed attempt to run for president, right? to again, like you said, to fundraise, because fundraising becomes slush funds. Like, then what are you going to do with the money? You can hire people, you can do some other things with it. It's just part of the game. It has nothing to do. And then again, this is all the different issues that have happened over the years that definitely he could have took a larger stance on when Biden was president. But this is when, again, the record amounts of people being deported under Biden. But now
that's exactly what Renee said. The contradiction of Ras Baraka is when they were doing deportations in Newark at similar rates under the Biden administration, Ras Baraka wasn't standing in the ICE facility waving. He wasn't out there trying to get arrested under the Biden administration. No, y'all waited till Trump. I mean, Trump is such an opportunity for Democrats. In spite of their low polling numbers, this is the only time they seem to get truly galvanized. But then you see how feckless and ineffective they are, even in their united front versus a common enemy. Like, I'm not hearing none of that bipartisan shit right now, but it's like, y'all can't even Freedom Caucus y'all way to, being stalwarts to Trump's agenda. It's like, what? I don't even like, what are y'all doing?
They can't even come up with a real progressive left-leaning program, right? That's all encompassing of like what people would believe in and suggest that they want, that they stand on. And they can't even stand up against genocide because they're a part of it, right? So these folks are they're performing. It's all about keeping the system the same, but it's like now it's reached the level of certain careerism. And again, the Obama effect is that Black politicians no longer have to settle for just being mayor or a city council person or House of Representatives. Their aspirations are now the same aspirations as their white counterparts, which is to be governors, to be senators, and to be a president. For them, the dream is all fulfilled, right? They still have a harder path to doing it because they have to convince the white folks in these states usually to vote for them for statewide or national office. But now the die is cast where they don't feel limited by having to deal with these Black politics or Black people anymore. They don't even have to talk about Black people to the certain level unless some incident happens that kind of throws it in their face where it's like, oh, God damn, I got to say something about Black people. I got to say something about the police killing Black people. Don't want to do it. I don't want to talk about Black folks, right? Because it's easier for me to talk about every other thing in the world. But I got to do it now because something has happened. But other than that, you can't distinguish the policies between any Black politician and their white counterparts, whether they consider themselves progressive, or left liberal, and or conservative. They're just part of the system. They're part of the milieu. They're part of the mainstream discourse on what politics is. And it's got nothing to do with radicalism, nothing to do with organizing, nothing to do with changing the system.
Speaking of changing the system, what else you got on deck? Because I wanted you to look and see if you could find that video of those two little white boys that were in an armed standoff with police.
Oh, where was this? Give me more details.
A 7 and a 9-year-old armed with a Glock.
Oh.
We're in a heated confrontation with cops.
I got it.
Where did this happen? I want to say, I don't know if it was Florida or Georgia. I really can't remember if it was in the South. I saw it circulating, and it is a jarring video.
Sound like some Florida shit.
It smacks of Florida, but it reeks of America, right? So literally, it could have been anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Where two armed white children were given heaps of benefit of the doubt. That Black or brown children, let me underscore on Black, a Black child would have never been given such consideration, even in spite of the child's small age.
No, they would have killed them, period. I got the video. I mean, what is the young brother's name from a few years ago?
Which one?
That's true. 13 years, Rice.
Tamir Rice.
Tamir Rice.
That's correct. This happened. Oh, yes. I'm sorry.
No, you go. Yes.
No, you go. We know Tamir Rice tragically murdered by a cop in Ohio. The cop obviously faced no charges. Tamir was holding a BB gun in an open carry state, of which Tamir was fully within his rights to do. But this incident regarding the 7 and these 9-year-old boys happened in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
In fact, a BB gun in which the person who called in said, "I think it's a toy gun. I don't think it's a real gun." He said that in the 9/11 call.
Couldn't believe that.
Okay, so here we go. Let me turn it up.
Turn it up.
So apparently this is a video of these kids standing here behind something.
No, you need the audio. We got to hear because you got to hear how these cops are talking to these kids.
This one does not. This one seemingly right now does not have audio.
So for context,
I'll find another one if I can see if we can get some audio.
Okay, so while we're doing that, chat, thanks y'all so much, because I'm never prepared, and Kamau is so gracious to act upon my story ideas on the fly. So shout out to Kamau and his producing Google and fingers. But Albuquerque, New Mexico, these two white boys, literal little boys, were in an armed standoff with the cops. They're armed with a Glock.
Operations manager, before you spend another day.
Go ahead. I'm so sorry.
It's fine. You're fine. The police are not put your fucking hands up like they would a Black child in a comparable situation. Buddy, you're not in trouble. But just put down the gun. Just put down the gun. It's okay. It's okay, little buddy. Little buddy. It's okay. You're not in trouble. We know you're armed with a Glock and you're not complying with orders. Just put down the gun.
Is there any indication as to why he had the gun in the first place, or why they had the guns in the first place?
He's about that life. That's all. I mean,
I don't know what's going to be. I'm gonna play this video. At least this one has an anchor person talking over it. We'll see if we get to. If not, we'll try one more after.
Shocking video from New Mexico showing police officers disarming 2 young boys.
Go ahead and put it down for me, okay?
You're not in trouble, but you have to drop that and come talk to us, all right?
Authorities say this video shows the standoff between New Mexico sheriff's deputies and 2 young boys.
Just put it down, babe.
In February, police were called to an Albuquerque home where investigators say they found the 7- and 9-year-old boys brandishing a loaded gun.
You guys have this finger on the trigger right now.
Hey!
Put it down!
Put it
Don't
down,
do
buddy!
that!
The officers say one of the boys tried to pull the trigger multiple times, but the gun malfunctioned. Police fired a non-lethal round in their direction,
Drop it!
causing the boy to point the gun towards deputies. Moments later, officers rush in and wrestle the gun away. Authorities say state laws prohibited them from arresting the children or removing them from their mother's custody. They say the boy's father, who is currently in jail, owns the gun and could face charges. It comes as officials are concerned over a rise in guns at schools in the area. Albuquerque Public Schools report 13 guns have been confiscated from school grounds this school year so far. Police say they've been called to that home more than 50 times, adding that the boys have a documented history of family trauma.
Oh, this is not going to.
Wait a minute.
What?
Wait a minute. So you mean the father's going to get in trouble that's already in jail, but nobody else?
I don't think anyone's getting in trouble.
Well, they said the father could face charges. That struck me too. It's like, well, he's already in jail.
He's
like,
already in jail. What the fuck? So no, they getting off scot-free for this shit. Wow.
Oh yeah.
And they said the kids won't be arrested because of their age. I never heard of that before.
Oh.
We obviously have our own stories, but I just recently saw a video of like them arresting like a black 8-year-old kid for allegedly stealing potato chips. Handcuffed him, put him in a cop car. Dude started videoing it, saying, "What are you doing?" And a cop looking outside like, "This is the stage one. He's gonna grow up and rob your house. He's gonna grow up and rob your house." That was the reaction of the cops in black communities. I mean, my man literally pointed the gun at them.
He did. He pointed the gun like
on the shot.
Shoot.
Hearing the noise. Word. He didn't duck.
Nah.
My man pointed the gun.
Listen, if you guys get the opportunity to see the unedited video, it is really telling because these kids behaved as though they were literally hardened criminals. Like they were in a standoff. Like we're not going back to jail. Like that was their posture. You know what I'm saying? They're 7 and 9. And I missed the part that they tried to shoot at the fucking cops with the gun malfunction. And when the cops did it, to be clear, so the video is from the perspective, the body cam of the police, and you hear the guy, the sniper who has the beanbag gun. He's like, he's basically saying, I don't want to have to shoot this beanbag gun at these kids. He does not want to have to shoot the kids. So he shot the beanbag in between the boys intentionally. You know that this man is a marksman. He could have shot it at them if he wanted to, but he shot between them enough to not wholesale startle them. Again, these kids was ruthless, like ice cold in their veins. So when the cops finally run up on him, the little boy like dumps the gun in the tank and he goes, "What? I don't have any gun." I'm like, the straight-faced psychotic nature of this little boy. Jesus.
They get it from their daddy, boy.
Listen, but the way that and this is maybe a false comparison, apples and oranges kind of comparison, but the way that the right-wing media is going in defense of that white woman who called that 5-year-old black child the N-word because he took an applesauce cup or some shit from her fucking kid at the goddamn playground, and she's raised $750,000, and if he acted like an N-word. I mean, it's like, do you see what white children are out here doing in the world? Do you see the psychopaths that you are creating and forcing upon the rest of us? The gall of the
and to be clear, I'm glad the cops handled it that way. The big issue is, why can't they find that same humanity with our people, right? Ooh. Why are our people the ones getting shot and killed? You know, a hail of goddamn bullets, live ammunition at any black young person who either picked it up, whether mistakenly or is acting out or whatever it was, right? No, there would be none of this whole like let's wait this out. Let's talk them down. Let's offer them something. Let's do the beanbag thing in between to scare them. The moment they saw the gun, the moment that the kid literally pointed the gun.
She did.
But for a malfunction at the shot too. I mean, that's Revolutionary Command would have been done. I heard a gunshot. The gun in my hand. The gun might have flew up in the air as I dropped it.
I'm done.
Whoa. I have no idea what my reaction.
That kid was like, "This nigga shooting." Bow.
He was on it like a train, like he was trained to
Wow.
like the sound will scare him. That's the thing. The cops, one of the plans, of course, is one of the trainings. They were at our marches and rallies, they'll do sound grenades, because people they freak out.
Mm-hmm.
They'll freak out at noises, like startling loud noises or whatever, and run the other way. This kid had none of that. This kid was ready. He was something's coming my way. I'm pointing in that direction, ready to blast. And like they said, apparently pulled the trigger and the gun did not go off.
So he would have shot somebody.
He would have shot somebody or something, or shot. Could have went through a window, could have killed anybody. But they did not, again, at any state, use live ammunition. They did not, as they did with Tamir Rice, roll up and as rolling up, shooting as they're rolling up.
Out the window.
Maybe they'll show this at the Cop City training facility, how to handle stuff.
No, they'll be like, what they will show is the Tamir Rice video. They'll show the Tamir Rice video as the perfect way in which they think it should be handled when it comes to Black people. Again, we talk about Dylan Ruth, right? People, again, we keep talking about that. How
the Burger King guy?
Yeah, after getting the Burger King, came out, whatever. And I think we've all seen other videos too, like these like white folks who are seemingly off their rocker at the time. And I've seen the opposite video. Black guy, naked, nude with a gun, having a psychic breakdown. Immediate shots. Cop is 20 feet away, 30 feet away. Immediate reaction is to pull the gun out and shoot. What was the sister at her apartment where they called? I think she even called the cops. And then about a car turns out to be nothing.
Out in Cali?
They forced their way into her house. And then she said something about Jesus. I rebuke you.
No, the sister in Illinois.
Illinois, was it? She said she was making tea.
Sonia Massey, yes.
Yes. And the cop came. He blasted. She didn't have any weapon, no gun. Blasted.
I mean, and this is giving them way too much consideration and grace. So shame on me for saying it, but they're not trained to shoot white people.
They're not.
You see the reluctance, you see the hesitation, you see the decision making. Like all of this, cops have to make split-second decision shit. Well, that don't factor in when they're dealing with white folks. They take their time. You know what I'm saying? They try to go through the processes, and when they shoot Black people, unarmed Black people, then they use their training as justification as to why they murdered them. But somehow, when it comes to armed whites, proven violent whites, they find the humanity. It's disgusting behavior. You know what I'm saying? And it's it gives Israeli Israeli training vibes, even though all the cross-pollination, right? Which came first, the chicken or the egg? Which fucking racist piece of shit empire trained which one to brutalize their marginalized folks, their oppressed folks? Who trained them?
The chicken came first, and that's the United States. So yeah, to be clear, the chicken. But I was thinking about the other incident of in Michigan. Right? So again, it's not just white cops. Black cops don't give Black people any sense of humanity. The killing of Tyree Nichols,
Memphis.
Thank you so much. In Memphis, the killing of Tyree Nichols at the hands not exclusively of Black cops, but beating somebody, beating him to death. No weapon, beating him to death because he ran. Right, Rayshard Brooks here in Atlanta. Basically shooting him in the back. How many times have we had Black folks shot in the back? The story that just happened the other day with Mr. Hinton, his son running, had a gun. What happened? What happened to all the de-escalation techniques that could have been used?
I mean, if I was a cop and they tried to charge me for killing somebody, I'd be like, they're not even considered fully human in the Constitution. Why are y'all?
You think they don't? They say that privately. They tell them how to clean it up. Like, don't use that language, but we understand.
Yeah.
Let's walk through the scenario. Let's write it down. This is how it should happen. This is how you should write it out. This is what the body cam shows. Let's do it like this. But underneath it all, it's all about protecting their own. So the whiteness and the blueness, protecting their own. But you're right. That's how they feel. But it's like, how do you say it publicly at this day? And we might reach a point again. So with Trump and Trump, who one of his first executive orders was to release, I think a DC cop who was convicted of killing a black person.
Two cops.
Mm-hmm. So we're only a moment away. We're not that far away from it. That's going to be the press conference.
I really expect Trump to give some sort of pardon to those Memphis cops because of the federal conviction, right? He, even if they were convicted in the state, he couldn't do anything about that. But because they were found guilty on some federal charges, I bet you he pardoned them.
Oh, I agree.
You're supposed to. He's supposed to do that. Those are the people that's going to protect him when he need them to go out in the streets and do what he need to do. So if I convict one of my soldiers, then I'm looking bad for them. I'm like, yo, I got to get them out there. Y'all can do whatever. I'm pardoning y'all as long as y'all do what I need when I say to do it. Makes sense.
I completely agree. That's the analysis I need from you, my brother. That's good. No more the Italian icy thing. I don't know that. This one was excellent. Excellent analysis. Excellent analysis.
I'm gonna leave.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, hey, remake.
I got a funny, weird. I don't think we talk enough about this guy for his craziness, but
Who's
RFK
this?
Jr.
Who?
RFK Jr. Goes swimming in DC's Rock Creek despite NPS guidance on bacteria.
Let him. Let him. He's begging for some sort of communicable disease that is resistant to antibiotics. And I say, let natural selection run its course. You know what I'm saying? I cannot with the whites, Kamal. I can't. Let nature
Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. revealed Sunday they took a dip in Washington, D.C.'s Rock Creek with his grandchildren, despite long-standing warnings that high bacterial levels make the Potomac River
tributary.
Thank you. Tributary unsafe. Mother's Day hike in the park, Oaks Park with, I guess this is the name of his nephew, whatever. Kick and they got a kid named Kick. Amaryllis, Bobby, Kick, and Jackson.
Are they Kennedy? Is the kid's name Kick Kennedy?
Yeah, Kick and Jackson.
Call the police. Protective services involved, right?
And a swim with my grandchildren, Bobcat and Cassius in Rock Creek. Who the hell are these names? Kennedy wrote in a social media post platform X with multiple photos, including of the shirtless 71-year-old cabinet member. Let me just say, since I'm going to try to see if we can go to his.
Don't tell me there's video.
These are pictures of him with the grandkids, him in the creek. How
is this not child endangerment?
Yeah,
like how is this not reason for authorities to get involved? Like what?
It says here, readers added context. Swimming in Rock Creek is dangerous and prohibited by the National Park Service as the creek contains dangerously high bacteria levels. Yeah, I think you're completely right on this, dude. He's just completely lost it or whatever. And there's some things that people that people agree with that he does, I guess, on occasions with some of the bacteria stuff. But this just seems like a lunatic fringe. It's like how do you your grandkids? Even if you're trying to prove some kind of particular point or say something, put yourself in danger. But your grandkids, don't you even a little bit? Don't you don't believe in a little bit of science? That you just let your what looks to be a 5 or 4-year-old.
Were the children submerged in the water?
Those weren't part of the pictures, but you never know. You never know. He jumped in all the way, shirt off and everything.
Wow. I'm so happy for him. I hope he's feeling great this morning. I'm sure he don't have the bubble guts at all. I'm sure his innards aren't exploding at all. Listen, it's just it's surprising and not surprising at the same time. First of all, I have to laugh at the ambition of white folks to re-enter waters that they polluted, right? Like they really want to get back, like and this is laudable, by the way. They want to clean up the Anacostia River to the point that it's swimmable, okay? They don't even recommend you eat fish out the Anacostia, okay? Maybe those standards got lifted, but the Anacostia is a deeply polluted river done by the local utilities, chemical companies, everything under the sun, right? And for some reason, the white folks want to swim in this river so bad. And every year they are prohibited. They think they're about to swim and they say the levels are too dangerous. I can only imagine what Rock Creek Park, what Rock Creek has got marinating in that water.
Yeah, and as we have 2 measles outbreaks, right, happening in I believe it's like Southwest Texas and New Mexico, and he's pushing for folks to try sort of topical solutions and changing diets as opposed to getting vaccinated. This dude is also swimming in polluted water, sort of like promoting. I have no idea what he's promoting in a sense of why do that, you know.
This feels like pre-bubonic plague energy. Like, oh, no, we'll be fine. Sure, just let the pigs and the chickens come in the house and sleep and defecate in the kitchen where we prepare our food. There's no worries, no worries. The rats will get it. You know what I'm saying? It'll be fine. And it's weird. It's like they even want to engage in biological warfare against themselves. And you just gotta step back and put your hands up and be like, okay, that's how you want to live life. Go ahead.
The problem becomes too many of our people see it and then be like, I want to do it too, or I want to be a part of it too, as opposed to just leaving it alone. Like you said, like just leave it alone. Like you said, let them go off and let's see what happens. Let's ignore all the history, the science, what happens afterwards. There's too many folks who are just like, oh yeah, no, I'm down with that too. I want to go swim there too because Kennedy's doing it, or like some other white man is doing it. So,
what does RFK hope to achieve by all of this, right? Like, again, I always scratch and maybe I just don't understand power, right? I always scratch my head at wealthy people with, generational status and money and motherfuckers like Elon Musk. Like, nigga, why do you want to change the world? Like, why don't you just go somewhere and be rich? Like, why don't you just go to your beach house, your compound, and enjoy the trappings of your wealth? Like, why is it that you want to impose your worldview, your influence, your ideology on the rest of us? No one asked you.
Because it's the idea that it's all these yes people, once you're rich, who tell you everything that comes to your mind is somehow should be taken seriously, or that you're extra smart. And then they reach a level where they're tired, particularly the white men, right? Not exclusively. They reach a level where they're tired of doing the same old debauchery as in a Sean Puffy Combs, right? Like, it's like, how many freak offs can we go to? My brain, I've done all of that plus more. My brain now says, I can create a planet. I can create planetary Earth planetary conditions on Mars. Mm-hmm. Let's do that. I can make measles go away without the vaccine, despite the history of the vaccine wiping out the epidemic of measles throughout the world. I think it's the idea that they can like think or think of anything and anything and then make it happen and then tell other people like what a brilliant idea this is. And then those other people are like, so there's never anybody. I mean, how could Trump get this far? Trump could only get this far because he's had enablers who just want to be down with the money. Because there's nothing intellectually, it's nothing that Trump has ever said that I've ever heard him said, even when he was younger and he had more of his brain working, that seemed to suggest to me that he was intellectually astute on any issue whatsoever, that anybody should be listening to him. He literally inherited wealth from his dad And then turned that wealth, turned it into more money, of course, but also went bankrupt several times. But he got chance after chance after chance. He's literally using the presidency as a chance to get more enrichment for his family. He's now in the Middle East, sitting down talking about making billion-dollar deals. His son-in-law has been in that area for now like close to 8 years, since the first Trump presidency to the Biden presidency to back to now, working out deals, cutting deals, right? With the same people who are supposed to be standing up for Palestinian rights, who are also Sunni Muslims, by the way. But they're just cutting deals, right? And then they have the smart people behind them who will be like, let's just see what happens. Or let's just make that money. But these people show no scintilla of any intellectual, any gift intellectually for people to be listening to them. But because they have money, we do.
Sad. we live in the stupid shithole country. Please, someone come rescue me, please and thank you.
Scintilla.
Scintilla.
Okay. That's why I keep smart people around me. Shit, I got billion-dollar ideas over here, but all my friends are nerds. Shit, I mean, because the thing is, they constantly think of how to do something, and I just do it, and they be like, "Oh, damn, that's how we should have did it." But too busy.
And once you got the money, you can make your ideas come. Like whether it's building a building or whether it's buying a restaurant. So doing that stuff even empowers them more, because then they feel like this is mine. Mm-hmm. They didn't create it. They might have purchased it, or they had to hire somebody else, like you say, who has done it before and they're smart. But at the end of the day, it's like my money purchased it, no matter how they got their money, right? So that's not important, but it's their money. And so therefore they are smart, right? And Elon Musk is smart because he bought companies, not because he
invented
anything.
Yeah.
Right.
Makes sense. It makes all the sense of the world. You need somebody that's a go-getter, and then you need the minds to plan it.
No, it doesn't make sense.
You need the money.
Then you start believing that these people know what they're talking about, and then they do things like Elon Musk is doing, or they swim in creeks like JFK is doing, Jr. Or they become the president like Trump is doing, and they'll totally burn something down. But because they have money, they're not going to get punished. Has Trump seen a day of jail from all of the bribery scandals or whatever else? Nothing.
Ooh, wow.
They're not even talking about doing anything with Trump this time around.
No.
That's a cool bucket.
And I mean, again, not just the Republicans. Did Joe Biden Jr. Joe Biden's son see any jail time with the gun, with the drugs? None of that. And again, not even saying I want him to do it, but anybody else would have. Right.
Yeah. I was about to say, Hunter Biden was riding dirty with a lot of cocaine. I understood why he had the gun. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't even mad at him. I'm like, nigga, you were out here doing a lot of hot shit. I get why you had the pistol.
He was a hot boy. He was a hot boy.
Real hot boy in them streets of Wilmington, Delaware. This nigga was woo
down there by Dell State. I see you. All right. We need a quick break, or we good?
Take a quick break.
All right. I guess you can pull up one more story and we can do it like that. All right, let's take a quick break right here at the Remix Morning Show.
Let's go.
Doing it in the park, doing it in the swamp, Rock Creek. Right, let's do it right here, right now. Let's do a little bit of self-promotion while we are here. We hardly do that. So it's prom season, it's graduation season. It's a whole what I do with the okay. It's a whole lot going on. You know what I'm saying? So when you need like a great DJ to come through and rock your party, let me promote myself. The Ear Doctor. Well, first this one.
I feel so terrible.
Papa, what's wrong?
I don't know. I feel old.
Oh, wrong one.
Like I'm losing.
Oh, my bad. Let me fix this. I done pushed the wrong one.
Guess what?
Oh,
You should try.
let's just to bring it back. I'm messing up. I'm messing. Why is it not stopping?
Well, it really improves
Okay, here we go.
overall look and well-being.
Mess that up. That's right. When you want your party rocked, you want to call the Air Doc and hit them up at eardrmusic1@gmail.com. So, yes, when you want your party rock, give your boy a call. I got you. You know what I mean? All right. So, with that said, we're going to keep the promotions going while people get back. And let's do it like this.
I feel so terrible.
Papa, what's wrong?
I don't know. I feel old. I feel like I'm losing my melanin. My hair is getting grayer. I don't know what to do.
Guess what? You should try community sea moss.
Community sea moss? Why should I try that?
Well, it really improves your overall look and well-being.
Okay, I'll give it a shot.
Wildcraft Super Sea Moss, natural, vegan, gluten-free, and organic.
Oh, that's good. Wait, my melanin is back. I have locks. I don't even need these glasses anymore. This thing really works.
I know, right? You should get community sea moss.
Wildcrafted Community Sea Moss.
Go get your CMOS, y'all. Stop playing. Self promotion right there, right here on the Remix Morning Show. All right, with that said, let's go ahead and get back to it on the Remix Morning Show.
Best commercial ever.
Yeah, that DJ
I
commercial
wrote,
was.
I produced, I directed, I starred.
At the same time, it was a bit of a self-own, was it not, Kamal? Are you acknowledging that your melanin depletion?
None of that. No. It was all for it.
your
I had to light
melanin
myself
depleted.
up for the commercial. I had to
Higher
pull out,
version of Kamal was Geechee.
I had to pull out hairs. I had to make it clear. That was all for. I was in makeup for like several hours to get that look of looking a little older and a little
from ecru to alabaster. Yes.
More importantly, I mean, I don't know what the I don't know what the advertising awards are, but I got to put that up for some advertising award because that was this comedy. I wrote the lines. I mentioned I wrote the script. I produced it. I directed it. I starred in it.
Dylan, and Dylan. The top MC, my favorite MC, the Dylan. Dylan, and Dylan. That's you. Kamal, favorite organizer is Kamal. Favorite salesperson is Kamal. Favorite attorney, Kamal.
I mean,
why would Kamal? Favorite.
You gotta big up yourself sometimes. You know?
I agree.
It's a good thing I
all
don't
the time.
I think I don't have money. If I had money, oof.
Oh my goodness.
Kamal, the way I know you would be a revolutionary in a G-Wagon, though. It's weird. Like I know you want to floss and stunt. I can see it. But you want the people to free at the same time as you were pushing your G-Wagon. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, what I would have is I still would have a Toyota because I wouldn't even know. I'd like if you was like 2 years ago, I found out what a Maybach was.
I feel like CMB should have a gala and have me DJ it. All right.
Interesting.
Or y'all don't do galas.
That's a bad idea. You're a great DJ.
I get that, but would y'all do galas?
Yeah, we could do a gala. Yeah. When I was in Malcolm X Grassroots Movement in New York, we did a whole one of those art auctions, gave out the food, had people come in. I emceed that also, of course, like, that was a great MC.
Great.
Like Trump, I was a great MC. I was
Great
the
MC.
best
Great
MC
MC.
ever.
Trump is a Gemini too, FYI.
Oh no.
Again,
am I
so
saying
many
it right?
things.
Is it Maybach or Maybach? The car.
It's
I thought it was
whatever.
Maybach.
Listen,
Maybach?
we're not promoting colonizers' language. So however you feel like saying it, we get it.
Truce.
Gala, gala,
Gala.
Tomato.
So, yeah. So yes. So we did that, but the problem is that you put these days it's easy to raise money online. It costs you less.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good
but
job.
people like the whole, yeah.
All right, I like it. So promote, support. Also watch Kim Burn It Down Brown when she has her shows.
True indeed.
Appreciate it. Thanks so much.
And what's your view? Your people who are subscribers of the channel?
Fire fam.
Kamau
hates it. I don't care. Kamau not the boss. Kamau don't run shit over here.
I'm going to show up in your chat one day just for that, just to be like, look, can we come up with a better?
Listen, when Black Liberation Media folks make their appearance, it's noticed. It's like, hey, a doctor show up once, twice, whatever. But I think you've been the only guest.
And rightfully so.
No, that's a lie. Rakita has been a guest. Ricky has been a welcome.
Been a guest?
She has been a guest. She's been on the show.
I probably have more views.
Didn't you have me on? Damn. I'm just that memorable, huh?
She did? You on?
Yeah, I was on one time.
Oh, damn. No.
I interviewed Kamau twice with no recollection of it whatsoever.
At least twice. I think it might have even been more, but I do at least 2 different videos popped up. And similar was like, oh shit, that's Kim Brown. I was like, wait a minute, we knew each other before the platform.
Which is hilarious. Oh shit, I have interviewed Pretty Ricky. Fine, let me find out. Because that's exactly what I thought about you when the first time I met you.
Yeah.
So we got a story
not you.
close
I
out
was
here?
in my head, but not to you. But that's what I was thinking though.
Pretty okay. I do, since we were talking about rich people, your man Bill Gates. Bill Gates plans to give away most of his fortune by 2045. It says Microsoft founder Bill Gates said he intends to give away 99% of his vast fortune over the next 20 years. Gates said he would accelerate his giving via his foundation, which plans to end its operation in 2045. People will say, excuse me, people will say a lot of things about me when I die, but I am determined that he died rich will not be one of them, he wrote in a blog post on Thursday. Mr. Gates, 69 years old, said his foundation has already given $100 billion towards health and development projects, that he expects it will spend another $200 billion, depending on markets and inflation, over the next 2 decades. In his blog post, Mr. Gates cited a 1889 essay by tycoon Andrew Carnegie called The Gospel of Wealth, which argues that wealthy people have a duty to return their fortunes to society. Mr. Gates quoted Mr. Carnegie, who wrote, "The man who dies thus rich dies disgrace." His latest pledge represents an acceleration in charitable giving. Initially, he and his ex-wife, Melinda, had planned for the Gates Foundation to continue working for several decades after their death. When asked about the shift, Gates told the BBC NewsHour on Thursday that there will be other wealthy people in 20 years who can better tackle future challenges. It's really about the urgency, he said. We can spend a lot of money if we're not trying to be perpetual, and I know that the spending will be in line with my values. So again, Bill Gates claiming that within the next 45 years, I guess, 20 years?
20
years, by 2045, he will be giving away close to $200 billion through his charitable foundation.
Through his charitable foundation, and therein lies the rub. And Mr. Franklin, as someone I think who probably has more familiarity with the inner workings of foundations, nonprofits, what have you, why does this sound like game? Because he's running it all through the foundation, right? He's going to distribute these billions through his foundation. And I feel like there's a huge either tax incentive or a state savings incentive that this, I mean, I don't feel as though this is true altruism, right? Because if it were, cut the fucking checks for everybody, nigga. Like, I mean, you got $200 billion, run that check. Run that $1 million to everyone sitting in this country. It's not going to put a dent in one of those billions. You be just fine. So what is this? Miss me with all this PR philanthropy nonsense. Because where is it? Where?
and that he gonna pay it all out in cash, and by that time, Bitcoin's gonna have taken over.
Right.
Well, I mean, one, by no means did he suggest to anybody that he was giving up all of his wealth and changing his lifestyle. Not that his kids were not going to be inheriting wealth from his companies. He wasn't suggesting he's closing down his companies, or he's changing his companies and making them so that his companies give all of their future earnings towards any of this. He's talking about a certain amount of money, an incredible amount of money, of course, but the ways in which it will be dispersed also deal with Bill Gates' ideological positioning in terms of what he thinks should happen. And it has been a lot of work and controversy over a lot of his giving in Africa around fertility issues. There's a lot of conversations about his work around pollutants and how this builds up other industries that causes other harms. This is not about him ending. And it's crazy because like any concentrated effort with all that kind of money, 10 billion, 20 billion, 30 billion, could in some ways do some good in the world. But again, I agree. Like this money will be dispersed in such a way to further other economic ideas and political ideas that Bill Gates has. This is not again, poverty is not an extremely hard thing to sort of digest and think about. If he was interested within the United States, homes and wraparound services have been proven to do huge amounts to eliminate or bring down the issues of poverty, of mental health issues. So making sure that people have a place to live, that they have counseling or support that they need in other areas, and that they have potential jobs that help them or jobs that help them and pay them decent wages. Those things have been proven remarkably successful when they have been tried in any real way. But again, spending the money on that is something that these folks don't want to do. And the idea that he can focus 10 billion of that money in one area, one place, to show the model of what governments could do. He can also give that money to governments with certain restrictions on how it should be used, so that it is the government which is doing this work, as opposed to some private entity, which again makes us justify the idea that these billionaires should exist in the first place. And look at all the great things they're doing with this money that they quote unquote legitimately earned, when we know a lot of this has nothing to do with legitimacy, but it has to do with power and control. This furthers the idea that billionaires will save us, and billionaires won't save us because they are the problem.
Yo, what if he was like, yo, all right, let me work with the government and be like, yo, we're gonna give them all vouchers, but they gotta spend it on American-made products. You know what I'm saying? Just to ignite the economy again, like your boy Abraham Lincoln did. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I don't even know what is made in America, so it probably won't be nothing too great. But
go ahead.
But tangentially, California Governor Gavin Newsom announced that he is going to make homelessness illegal. He wants to, quote, take back our streets, take back our sidewalks. Bill Gates' Microsoft company is based in California. He don't have to look too far. If you want to help people, Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom has criminalized not being able to afford housing. So there's folks by the thousands on the streets of California that will be happy to accept your direct cash assistance, Mr. Gates. Again, these motherfuckers act like we gotta look and find the foundation, the nonprofits, and nope. You just gotta walk down the street, walk down Skid Row in Los Angeles. You will find lots of people there that you can help. That's why all this philanthropy shit is phony to me, because I see more regular people with limited resources going out and actually feeding people, clothing people, getting people the things that they need. And these rich people just sit back up in their ivory towers and their exclusive mansions and gated communities, and they claim to write checks. But we know how the nonprofit hustle goes. Like so much of that money going to these foundations goes towards overhead. It doesn't go to actually directly helping the people that desperately need the help. So not impressed. Not impressed.
And on that same note, like, direct payments to people who are like, similar to what you're saying, doctor vouchers or direct payments, those things have been shown again to alleviate poverty, because then people have the money in their hands that they need in order to buy Pampers or to buy food or to pay for shelter or to pay utility bills. Direct payments to people actually could solve a lot of issues with poverty, instead of criminalizing poverty or talking down to poor people like they don't know how to spend their money or what to spend their money on. Most people will spend their money on things that they need, and those who need help with the resources, again, on how to spend resources so they're not using it in the ways that keep them homeless. There's wraparound services that can be provided, again, to help people to get these things, to get out of a situation that the system put them in the first place. So again, like Kim is exactly right. If they had an interest, they don't need to do 20 years of research on alleviating poverty. We need a forum. We need to have all of these different papers written. You need action. And again, some of this has been thought through, tried, and when they've done these smaller studies and models, they've seen what works, but they don't implement them because they don't want you to think that spreading money evenly throughout society or making sure that people have access to resources that they need, which would be a redistribution of resources, is what we should be doing. That's not what we should be doing. We should be having rich people decide where all this money and these resources should go. Rich people who are a lot of which have government contracts, whether those are military contracts, whether or not they're contracts with other agencies. And that's how they get a lot of their money, is through these kind of contractual relationships, which add on. Where would Elon Musk be without the government subsidies he gets to dig tunnels underground, to fly spaceships and satellites? He'd be nowhere. So I agree. Like, this is another kind to make us believe that these billionaires are here to save us, and so therefore we can continue to have billionaires. I mean, look, $200 billion. I mean, I want, like, we don't have that information offhand, but think about how many government economies are probably smaller than $200 billion.
What's 1% of 200 billion?
That's
like a lot of money still.
I'll help you a lot.
It's a lot of money. Like, this man could part with 1% of his wealth, like, every day. You know what I mean? And still be living in a lap of luxury.
Yeah. Well, listen, y'all, great show. We're coming to a wrap. I got a big meeting to try to get this after school program going at 11 o'clock. So I got to go get dressed.
Good luck.
No luck. I guess got to come with the good.
That's right.
Yeah,
do that thing.
Do luck. There you go. There you go. Just get it, make it happen. Just say
that's where I do CMOS. You know what I'm saying? Direction, starring. Right.
Yeah, you gotta make it happen. Ain't no luck. I ain't giving my praise to no leprechaun. All right.
Is that what you think I'm doing?
It's a fairy god. Like, good luck. Like, if luck comes, then maybe it'll happen. No, you go out there and get it, young man. That's what I want to hear.
I mean, I don't know this for certain, but I would imagine that even the concept of luck appears in African, deities and whatnot, and African spiritual concepts. Like, I'm sure luck is not a European idea originally.
You sure, or you think?
I don't know, but I would imagine, because again, they stole everything, doctor. So if they claim to be the the proprietors of luck, trust me, they took it from somewhere else.
Now, we could go deeper into this, but we're not. So listen, make sure y'all come back here tomorrow at 8 a.m. for some more of the Remix Morning Show. Make sure y'all are register for the Black Radical Conference at the end of the month, and make sure fire starters go and like and subscribe and rock out with Burn It Down, Kim Brown.
It's fire fam, but thanks though. I appreciate it.
I know he did try. He legitimately tried.
I really tried.
That's okay.
It's all good.
We don't need y'all validation nor your approval.
Watch Kim. That's all.
Thank you.
All right. So we are out of here, and I ain't got no music together, but yes, I do. Peace out, people. Have a great one. We out of here.
y'all.